to Wellness Wednesday. Hello, hello, hello out there. If you're there, let me know you are out there listening to my voice. And I have a question for you tonight. Are you ready to thrive? I want to talk about the energy drainers that we have in our lives that keep us from thriving. We can thrive. There is such a thing as thriving. And tonight, I really want to talk about how we need to set boundaries with people. The reason that a lot of us are burnt out and stressed out and not thriving is because we have energy drainers in our lives. We have people in our lives who just really take everything out of us that we have. I want you to know today that those people don't have to be that in your life. And there are some things that you can do to stop them from draining your energy so you can thrive. Let's have a conversation tonight, guys. One of the things that I know is that if you never set a boundary with people, people will walk over you. They will do whatever they feel benefits them, not necessarily you. Oftentimes, it's because we just don't say no. No is a complete sentence. We have to learn how to say no and mean our no's. Sometimes we say no like it might be a question. Hey, Sandra, good to have you here. Yeah, no is a complete sentence. I think that the reason why a lot of us don't have peace is because we allow people to just drain us. I don't care if it's your children, your spouse, whatever it may be, you don't have to have that in your life. Hey there, how you doing? Glad to have you all here tonight. Glad you get to catch me live. What I know for sure is that when you make the conscious decision to set a boundary in your life, you're going to find peace. You're going to find peace. Peace is there for all of us. We just have to make the conscious decision to no longer allow people to step past our boundaries. I think as women, especially, it's very hard for us to say no. We feel like we're letting people down. But what about letting yourself down? You let yourself down when you allow someone else to drain your energy. When you allow someone else to keep you from thriving, you're letting yourself down. You deserve better than that. And tonight, we're going to talk about steps that you can take to make sure that those people in your life that are draining your energy, that are keeping you from thriving, that you know how to deal with them. There is a way, and still be nice and still feel good about yourself. I'm here to empower you to be able to say no, to know that, you know what? I no longer want energy drainers in my life. I need to thrive. And as long as people are draining my energy, I will never be able to thrive. So, tonight, if there's something in your life that's keeping you drained, I want you to put it in the comment. What is one thing in your life that is an energy drainer and you know it? Put it in the comments for me. We want to talk about it. Because unless you identify what that energy drainer is, you can't take any steps to deal with it. You have to know that this is draining my energy and I need to do something about it. I don't have to be mean, I don't have to be evil. I just need to set a boundary. Sometimes people are waiting for you to set a boundary. And because you don't set it, they think it's okay. I've had times in my life where I have not said anything. And it pained me not to say it because I thought I was doing the right thing. Like I'm going to just hold it in. And you know what holding it in did for me? It stressed me out. It became a stressor. It drained my energy. Hi, Indonesia, welcome. Glad to have you here. I've been to Bali. So, when you know what is draining your energy, and when you can identify what that thing is, you can make some steps toward changing that. And if it's something that's too personal, just type in personal, Carla. And we'll talk about that personal thing. But I want you to know today you can do something about those things that drain your energy. Some people may say, well, it's my boss at work. You still have to deal with your boss, you can't get around it. But you can put a boundary in place for how you decide how that person impacts you. See, it's not always that you have to do away with the person, place, or thing. What you do have to do away with is how that thing is making you feel. So I mentioned last week, I think it was, you have to build your muscle so that that thing no longer impacts you that same way. We have to exercise our power to say no. And no is your own boundary that you set. Because your boss, your spouse, your children, your girlfriend, whomever, your friends don't know that it's stressing you out. They think you like it because you never say anything. And they're like, if you like it, I love it. I have a family relationship in my life where the person criticizes me so much. Sometimes I stay positive through it, but it gets me down and sometimes so much. Thank you for putting that in there because you know what? A lot of people have that same issue. They have a family relationship. They don't want to hurt their family member. And so they do all the work, but the family member does nothing because the family member may not even know that it's impacting you this way. And they think you okay. You know why they think you're okay? Because you say, I stay positive. Well, why do you have to be the bigger person to stay positive if it's paining you? That's the wrong message that we're sending to people when we're in relationship with people. So you have to figure out what is it that I can do so that this relationship doesn't strain me, doesn't drain my energy. How can I approach this so that it causes me to move forward in a healthy way with this family member? There's one thing you can do, you can cut the family member off. Sometimes we don't, we just need to cut people off. Then there's other times where you don't necessarily need to cut the person off, but you need to learn what it is exactly that that family member is doing that is paining you. When you can identify specifically, is it just talking to the person? Is it a certain topic that this person begins to engage with you in? Is it because this person thinks they know everything and because of that it irritates you? So you have to do a deep dive into what exactly that thing is that pains you. Sometimes we're just very generic. Oh, this pains me, but we don't identify the culprit. I want you to identify the culprit. What exactly in that relationship is paining you? And I don't need you to put it on the screen, but thank you so much for sharing this because this is a great way to segment into what we want to talk about. So identifying what conversation, what is that thing that drives the emotional thing you're feeling? It sparks some level of emotion in you. And is it that person in particular, or does it remind you of something that's happened in the past? Because a lot of times we are pained by things that we didn't address 20 years ago. And so, because we didn't address it, every person that comes into our lives is going to pain us the same way because it reminds us of what happened 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 5 years ago. And so, it's not that particular person, it's that they remind you of a situation and circumstance that happened years ago. You know how I know it to be the truth? Put on an old song that you used to play years ago that was your favorite song. You know, we all had our favorite song. You play that song and it stirs up a memory. And your mind doesn't know that that was 20 years ago or 10 years ago or 5 years. It thinks it's right now because that music hits that space in your life where there's memory. The memory lives in our cells. So you have a memory there. And when somebody hits that place, or when some music is played, or when someone says something, it piques the interest in that place. It's true. It piques the interest in that place. And sometimes we wrongly identify people as the culprit when it's really a memory that we haven't addressed. You know how I know this? I've done it. I've lived it. I've been in relationships, whether male or female, that have pained me because it reminded me of a past something that I never addressed. And I thought I may have addressed it by avoiding it, but I didn't address it. I never addressed it. I avoided it. And so later in life, I've had to address it because at some point you have to face it, or it will keep you just running from place to place. And none of us should have to do that. We all should be able to deal with those things that are causing us to feel pain or to not thrive. So imagine in your family situation, if you address that, what that would feel like. Would it bring you peace? Would it bring you joy? Would it make your life easier? But if you don't address it, you'll never know. Is it this person? Or is it some past situation? So there are so many layers to things that happen to us because we've never said no. And many times growing up, we didn't know to say no. We thought that wasn't, you never say no, you just continue to do and do and do. And this is why I think, when we're raising our children, we have to give our children the space that they need when they say no. A lot of times we override our children, and what's happening is we're teaching them that it's not healthy to set a boundary. Now, if you teach them in a healthy way, they should be able to have a space where they can be themselves. I realize that a lot of times what we deal with as adults is things that were never addressed when we were children. And so we're walking around in adult bodies with issues that we had as children. I know people. I've been there myself. I've lived out of that place. Yes, ladies, it makes sense. It's true. But we never confront it because we live in a shallow place in our lives. And I'm saying you can live out of your soul. You can live out of the depths of who you are. And how you do that is by peeling back the layers of the emotional places you find yourself being, drained, or you find yourself not thriving. And most of the times we blame other people. It's not other people, it's us. I told you I was in a marriage. I blamed the person. It wasn't him, it was me. You know why? Because I chose him. I chose that relationship. I chose to be who I was in that relationship. I didn't allow myself to grow to the place where it didn't matter what happened, I was still going to be me. I had to learn that the hard way. And as adults, we are learning some things the hard way, but I'm telling you, if you do the work, you will be better for it. You will feel better as a result of it. It's not all in the feeling, but what it is in learning how to confront those things that bother us. I can immediately tell when something bothers me. I feel it in my stomach. It's a gut thing for me. I could just feel it in my gut. Something don't feel right. I, and once I feel that, I'm ready to start identifying what's going on here. Why am I feeling this? Is it this person? Is it something that I haven't addressed? Then you go into the questions. Remember, I did that booklet about emotional detox. It's the questions. The questions are designed to get you to look deeper into your own life. They're designed to get you to pull back the layers and not live on the surface. There are people in our lives who really just live on the surface. They're not trying to get any deeper into really knowing who they are, why they are here, the purpose that they have for their lives. They're okay with living on the surface. You know what I realized in my relationship was that I was married to someone who was okay with living on the surface, and I wasn't. I didn't want to live on the surface. I wanted to pull back the layers. I want to expose myself to me. You know what I realized in that relationship too? I didn't like the me that I was. I know you see me sitting here today and you think, oh, Carla, I didn't like who I was in that relationship because I wasn't my authentic self. Had I been my authentic self and know what I know now, I would not have chose that relationship because it did not cause me to thrive. I was drained by it. I wasn't as successful as I see myself being now. I didn't have the energy. I was fighting battles that I should not have been fighting. Mostly I was fighting myself. I was keeping myself small when I knew I was better than what I was doing. We do it every day. I did not allow myself to be completely who I was because for some reason I told myself in this relationship I could not be. That's a sad state of affairs. It was sad for me to be in that. But it was worse when I didn't acknowledge what was going on. The moment you begin to acknowledge what is going on is the moment you can be free and start taking steps to put yourself in a healthy place. It may take a year, 2 years. I didn't put any time on it, but what I knew was there's no way I'm going to stay in this position because I'm determined to be the authentic person that I was designed to be. All of us. There's some authenticity that lives inside of every last one of us. And in any area of your life, Sunday we talked about the emotions, we talked about, spiritual, we talked about practical, we talked about mental, we talked about social. If in any of those places in your life, you cannot be who you authentically are designed to be, those are areas that you need to address. Those are areas where you need to sit with yourself and say, this isn't causing me to thrive. As a matter of fact, it's draining my energy. And I'm not saying that this is easy. It is difficult. It was difficult for me to admit that I had made the mistake and I partnered myself to someone who did not want to see me thrive, who was okay with me being mediocre. I was not okay with me being mediocre. And so, how could I possibly stay in a relationship that would not allow me to thrive? I was fighting every day against myself. I was stressed. I was frustrated. Many times I didn't know what to do. Oh, you're so welcome. I didn't know what to do because there are times I didn't want to tell my family. I didn't want to tell my friends what I was going through. I didn't want them to know until I got to the place where I wanted them to know. And let me tell you, there's no shame in it. The shame is in allowing yourself to not thrive. The shame is in allowing your energy to be drained from you. The shame is in not being honest with yourself, with what is going on in your life. That's the shame. The shame is not in speaking your truth. The shame, thank you, the shame is not in telling people what's going on inside of you. You can find trusted people. Don't tell yourself, oh, I can't tell anyone because there's no trusted people that exist. Because guess what that does? That keeps you in the state of having your energy drained from you. The moment you decide to make a difference in your own life, it's the moment that I believe all creation comes together to assist you on the journey. I couldn't get help until I admitted that I needed help. There are no mind readers out here. We're adults. We have to be honest with ourselves about where we are and what we need. I said something to my manager the other day. Yes, they are hard to come by. Yes, they are hard to come up and they do exist. They definitely do exist. And sometimes you might have to pay for that. Yeah, double tap the screen to like. Yes, please. You might have to pay to have someone to talk to. But if you really want to thrive, if you really want your energy back, you'll pay. You'll do whatever it takes. I did whatever it takes to get me out of a relationship that wasn't allowing me to thrive. I moved. It took me time. Because let me just be honest with you. I was married for 14 years. I stayed 5 years longer than I needed to. I didn't know how to get out. That's real talk. I'm being really transparent with you all in this moment. Sometimes we don't know how to get out. Oh, I'm so glad you found me. Okay. Well, hey, tune in and you can tell your wife about it. But here's the thing. If we ever find ourselves in spaces that we don't know how to get out of, we need help. If you sit there and do nothing, it's just going to take you further down the rabbit hole. And what happens to us a lot of times is it all started because I didn't set boundaries. When I went into the relationship, I didn't talk about what I needed to thrive. I didn't talk about it because I just felt like, well, they'll figure it out. They'll know. No, people don't figure it out. You talk to people. You have to have conversations. That's why now I want to have a conversation. We have to communicate with each other. As humans, we were designed to communicate with each other. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Look, Here's the thing. We all will find things to be our crutch. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Jamama. We will find things to be our crutch. And you know what, Sandra? I love saying turn to God, but what does that mean? Because we tell people to turn to God. But here's my thing. When we say turn to God, that there has like bad mama jamma. Okay, but backwards. Jamma mama. Jamma mama jamma jamma mama. Okay, very good. When we say turn to God, what we're saying is look for a relationship that is going to help you find out who you are. Focus on yourself. Yes, it is. And that, here's the thing, there is an internal voice that I believe that God has put inside of all of us. And we need to listen to that voice. I love that. Yes, Sandra. Yes. You got to tune inside. And that's where you have to quiet all the noise, all the craziness that's going on, all the chaos. You have to turn to the place that you were created from. There's a creator that lives on the inside of us. Sandra, you know that art, that's from the creator. There's a creator that lives on the inside of us. We have to tune into the creator inside of us. And when we do, thank you. Um, it's so important that we really learn that everything that we need is inside of us. And the moment we begin to look inside of ourselves, we change our lives for the better. One thing I know for sure is that we've talked about a lot of things over these last few lives. I've given you tips that I believe that really can help you. Things that you can do in the morning, things that you can do around your house to create the atmosphere. I believe in creating the atmosphere. Maybe you feel like you're in a situation where you couldn't create an atmosphere. So what I would do sometimes is I would have to go someplace else and find space where I could pray, where I could meditate, or when I was home alone. I used those opportunities so I could get myself in the mindset that I wanted to be in. Jamma Mama, everybody has their own thing that they do. They really do. And you have to find, I'm not here to tell anyone what that thing is. What I am here to tell you is that all of us have the ability to find that thing. Yeah, oh, I love that. Getting out in nature and walking. There's so many things. Sometimes the things are just very simple things. I think we've forgotten that there is a simplicity to life. And we get so caught up in living that we forget that we are beings. We are human beings. Yes, I agree. All those things are just wonderful things that we can add to our lives. Sitting on our porch, bird watching, walking in nature, going to the gym. There are a lot of things, sitting in silence, journaling. There are so many things that we can do. But here's the thing, with all those things that we can do, there's a thing that's for you. This is what I love about life. There's something that's fit just for you. But if you don't allow yourself to be in a place, a space, and a position where you can find out what that is, you will never establish a boundary for yourself, and you will continue to live in a space that drains your energy. I think that when we can clearly identify what those things are. Here comes the sunshine. Thank you for sharing yours. When you can identify what those issues are, now you can go in and you can look what is causing me the pain of this situation. And you know what it may take? It may take journaling. My family's from Alabama. Yeah, it may take some journaling, to figure out why it is this person, just rubs me the wrong way, for lack of a better word. Why is it that, when I engage with this person, I feel drained? We have to do the research. We have certain things going on. For instance, you get a project at work, and yes, I love that. You get a project at work that, your boss asks you to do. You're going to do the research if you don't have the answers. You're going to research it until you get the answer, because your boss has the expectation that you're going to come back with the answer so they can complete the assignment. Well, that's the same way it is with your life. In order for you to complete the assignment, you have to do the research. I'm not going to work harder at work than I work with me or on me or my situation. Nobody deserves that. And if you're in a relationship with someone, you should be consistently working on yourself so you can be a better partner. Sometimes we have to admit that it's on us. We're the problem. That's hard, but it's necessary. Because when you admit and are willing to say, hey, it's me, I don't know about that. When you're willing to say it's me, it's half the battle. And guess what? It takes the weight off of you. It takes the power out of someone else's hands. I'm saying some of the same things over and over to you guys. I have been saying for the last 2 weeks of going live, because I promise you, I told you, in a couple of months, some of you are going to come back and say, Miss Carla, I thank you for letting me hang out in the corner with you, because as a result, I have confronted some of those situations in my life, and they don't bother me like they used to. You're right. And the weakness is in not admitting that you're wrong. Look, all of us can be wrong. None of us are always right. And it's okay. It's okay to admit, that we're not good at everything. We're not supposed to be. It's okay to say, hey, I'm feeling this way because it's something that I haven't addressed. And then move forward with addressing it. Because the moment you begin to address it, you can change your life. Right? It's true. Wow. Analytical chemist by trade. Wow. Look, if you know that as a chemist, you have to put certain things together, right, in chemistry in order to get the result that you're looking for, Jamma Mama, it's the same way in life. We have to take what we've been given. And if we can take what we've been given and begin to use that to help us to become what it is we know we already are. You're successful. I said, go check out the video I did on my I am. I am. All those things that you are, it is in you to be. You just have to make the conscious decision to become that. Wow, that's amazing. I'm telling you, Jamma Mama, I'm so glad you found this channel. Thank you. I really, truly want the best for everyone who comes and hangs out in this corner. I believe that there is something that is going on. And I said this to you guys the last time. I believe there are things that are happening that are specifically for you because you show up here. I believe that you want better for yourself. And because of that, you have the tools that you need. That's all you needed was tools. I remember talking, Sandra, we talked the other day about the tool belt and the tools. And so your tool belt is being filled up so that when you need to pull out a certain tool, you can do that. Pull out the tool that you need to help you to set a boundary. Pull out the tool that you need to reduce the impact of people are having in your life to keep you from thriving. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. It can be a very positive thing because when you begin to sit with what it is you need to do, it can begin to help you navigate your way. The situation will present itself to you just so you can have the conversation to establish the boundary. It all starts with setting a boundary. If you want to thrive, yes, yes. If you want to thrive, that's what you need to do. Set the boundary. Hey, Reva, that's my coach, y'all. Set a boundary. Make it your intention to no longer allow anyone to drain your energy. You can do that. You can pull back the layers of your life and get to the place where you realize, yes, we do love Reva, facts. Get to the point in your place in your life where you realize, I no longer have to settle for less than what it is I want. That also means that there's something that I have to do. Yes, Reva is awesome. Facts. There's something that you need to do. And when you take the tools, meet me on the corner, yes. And when you take the tools out of your tool belt and you begin to apply them to your life, nothing is impossible. And all things are possible. It's a conscious decision that each of us get to make every day. So take the action. Don't settle for less than what you want. Remember, no is a complete sentence and that you can thrive in spite of what's going on in the world, in your life, in your situation. You can thrive. The decision is yours and only yours. I appreciate you guys. I want you to know that it's a pleasure for me to come on here. I've got this little plan now, thanks to my coach. I do 2 lives and I really do enjoy. This is where I feel like I'm supposed to be. Sitting at this corner, having conversations, really helping us to understand it's possible for us to care for ourselves. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's Wellness Wednesday. Every Sunday we come on. Sundays we talk about health and wellness as well. but it's tools, giving you those tools to help you to thrive and survive. Thank you so much, Reva. I appreciate you. All right, guys, I will talk to you again on Sunday. Have a great day. Bye.